Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Dreams, Memes, and Veggie Supremes.
Hi guys.
This is episode 7, and today we're going to be speaking about, well, it's actually going to be a two-part series with the next episode, which is going to be on tips for beginners.
Yeah, so nutrition, fitness, general health, all of these tips.
Yeah.
Stuff that we've picked up essentially.
Definitely.
Since we've obviously been beginners and we've taught beginners some stuff, and
That's right.
most of them have had decent results, so we think we're in a decent position to talk about this kind of thing.
We definitely are, yeah. But obviously, before we even get into that, we're going to demolish a pizza.
Pizza time.
You know the drill. Phone view. Jack, tell the people.
So here we have, somewhat counterintuitively, a vegan meat lovers, which is from a place relatively close to us called Marion Dial-a-Pizza. So we've got cheese on it, we've got salami, we have what looks like little bits of ham.
Beef crumbles by the looks as well.
Little like mince. So it should be interesting since I've definitely not had a meat lovers since going vegan.
I mean, a meat lovers vegan pizza just doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
But hey, it exists, and we're about to demolish it. So let's have a try.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Because we only do this for a taste. It's like when you spout the wine at a winery.
Yeah. We don't even swallow it. We've just gone and spat it out. That's been edited out.
Yeah. We don't put that in because it's kind of gross. So I definitely want you to rate this first.
Ooh. I'm going to give that one a 9. I really like it. I think the only thing that could be a bit better is the cheese. Because it's got... I like the texture. I like the crust. I like... it's got a nice smoky kind of thing going on.
Yes.
Which is...
Yes, Jack.
Usually missing from that kind of thing. So I'm going to give it a 9 because I think that a little bit better could have been done by the cheese.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think how much emphasis I want to place on the cheese. 1
point.
I think I'll place... I pretty much agree with you across the board. Yeah, and I'm going to go for a 9 as well.
Just because I'm correct.
Yeah, that's right. The cheese wasn't quite there, and it's hard. Like vegan cheese, the only vegan cheese I think that I've had that's nailed it has been Domino's. I think they've got the best cheese at the moment.
Vegan cheese, yeah.
Yeah, but that's pretty much exactly how I remember a meat lovers pizza. It's got the exact same taste. Like really, yet again, it tastes like a Domino's meat lovers pizza, and I'm a sucker. I used to love those. So. Yeah, the smokiness of it is on point. So Marion Dial-a-Pizza, good job.
Thanks,
by the
guys.
way, Marion Dial-a-Pizza, where we got that pizza from. Lovely customer service, great lads down there. And yeah, they obviously make good pizza too.
Yeah, so. Very nice.
Congrats. Well, with the pizza out of the way,
we'll jump into it.
As you guys probably know by now, we always say it, we do planning for these podcasts. So we aren't just off the cuff all the time. You may see it. There are occasional glimpses of us being off the cuff. Not everything's scripted entirely. The teleprompter is currently going in the background.
Yeah. But, we improv it now and then. But, the managers don't like us to go off the script too much.
No, they don't. Sorry, Jim. Sorry, mate.
Stan.
Oh, this is Stan. Yeah. Okay. So we've got 5 tips now that we're going to jump into for this podcast. In episode 8, which is the next one, it's pretty much just part 2. We'll be going into 5 other tips. So for the first tip for this podcast is...
finding your own personal favourite food staples. So I'll let you take this for the most part.
So this is like the first. This is like one of the main, just the nutrition ones. That's pretty much relevant to nutrition. So finding your food staples. A staple is just a food that you make a large part of your diet, pretty much. And
so what's a good example of that?
So this is mainly used in the context of most times I've been exposed to this word. It's been like the third world staples. So it's been like rice, potatoes, that kind of stuff. It's being taken slightly out of context here and being applied more broadly to just a general diet. An example of staples, like I said, would be like rice, beans, oats, wheat products, a lot of wheat products. Pretty much anything that's a large component of your diet and is eaten regularly, you pretty much call it a staple.
So what kind of stuff would you recommend for someone who's maybe new to the gym, new to training, trying to put on a bit of muscle? Maybe
it's hard to say that. Like obviously, making plant-based foods the predominant part of your diet is always going to be beneficial. Whole plant-based foods. So pretty much what similar to what I said before. So whole grains. Whole grains are a really good staple to focus on.
Yeah.
Not only do they actually provide decent amounts of protein, but they provide a really good amount of carbohydrates, and that's going to really help you with your training, for giving you energy for your training sessions, and also for recovery as well.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realise that. It's actually really good for recovery, refueling those glycogen stores that you deplete in training in your muscles. So it's really good for that. Also, just start getting a good figure out what protein sources you like. So for me, it's taken me quite a while to figure out what I actually like in my diet as a main protein source. Now I've kind of landed on TVP. Yeah. I mean, we promote it all the time just because it is literally the most OP food on the
planet. To be nerfed.
It needs to be nerfed. It's 50% protein by weight. It's got no fat. It's got not even a lot of carbohydrates. It's super high in iron. It's high in zinc. Like, it's even got a bit of calcium in. It's insane. Like, it's the craziest food ever. We're going to actually do a separate video on TVP. I want to do it shortly because I need to get the word out there. Also, tofu, I wouldn't call it a staple.
But it's a semi-staple.
Semi-staple, yeah.
Something you've always got on hand.
That's right, yeah. Beans, I definitely would say beans, especially baked beans, because they're so convenient for me. I'm all about convenience. Baked beans, one of my staples. Soy milk is another staple that I have. I actually get quite a lot of protein from my soy milk alone. I couldn't tell you where else now. Mainly those, I'd say. I also have quite a bit of wheat products. I've got a fair amount of protein from pasta and bread and stuff, personally. Yeah. But yeah, it's about making it work what you like. And so once you figure those out, you can pretty much just start planning your meals around those foods, and it gets pretty easy. So using the example of TVP, you've got your chili con carnes, you've got your tacos, you've got your spag bol. Like, just start thinking about those kind of things. Tofu, you can do stir fries, you can do whatever. You even just put it with some veg and some carb sauce of some sort. Yeah. Easy as. So yeah, it's finding what you like personally and what's easy for you, what hits your convenience kind of level or whatever. So that's a really good tip for beginners, is to find your staples.
So would you say it's good to almost think of it like a graph of how beneficial it will be versus how much you like it, and try and pick the one that's the highest for both?
It's a good point. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really speak too much about health there. I think if you're pretty much just considering, for me, I would only consider a whole food a staple.
Yeah. So I can't have donuts be the staple.
No, definitely, that doesn't count. Just by default of it being like a not sustainable, I wouldn't say sustainable whole food. Let's say sustainable whole food, sustainable food, because tofu technically is not a whole food. I mean, we're getting into some ambiguous territory here, because what constitutes the word as processed is very, very ambiguous. Yeah. Even sorting, pretty much vegetables are actually technically processed because they're sorted. That's a method of processing. The only way you actually would have something that's an unprocessed food is ripped out of the ground and you just ate it. Yeah. And you didn't discriminate as well what you picked out of the ground.
Does washing it count as processing?
Yeah, it does. Legitimately, it does. So it's using whole foods a bit more broadly is sustainable foods that you can include that haven't been stripped of everything. Like, tofu's still pretty hearty. It's not been had too much removed, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, again, it's very ambiguous here. So
yeah, awesome.
Hope that answers your question.
Yeah, pretty sure that covers that tip pretty nicely. So on to tip number 2. This one is perfecting your form before you try and lift any sort of heavy weight, which I would say is probably one of the number one things that a lot of people don't do.
Definitely.
A lot of people jump straight in. They start saying they get a little bit of strength on, let's say you start deadlifting. You do 60 kilos, do it very easily, lifts off the ground really well. So you're like, okay, I'll try 80. You do 80 kilos, it's a bit of a struggle. But you're like, okay, cool, I'll go up to 100 kilos. And then you do 100 kilos and you get it to the top, but you've not worked on strengthening the muscles that might be really key for good form. And you don't know many of the cues, like stretching out the hamstrings, keeping the lower back nice and straight, making sure your chin's tucked and your chest's up. So you end up looking like a scared cat as you're pulling up that 100 kilos.
Yeah. And there's that hit. Is it a hitch? Is that what it's called hitching, isn't it? Yeah.
So
where you like
hitch as well, which is
pretty much yanking your posterior chain up into it. Yeah.
So it's doing that kind of thing is obviously quite dangerous, and a lot of beginners do get away with it because they're not lifting heavy enough weights just yet for it to become an issue. But if you're one, unlucky, and if two, you're progressing further than that and you're still keeping those habits, then it's going to cause a problem for you. You're going to hurt your back.
Yeah,
You're
definitely.
going to hurt something, and it's not going to be great for you, to be honest.
Do you think ego is a component of that?
100%, especially in men who are just starting to lift, or like teenagers who are just starting to lift.
They get the high off of the progression.
Exactly. You start just trying to lift things because your friend lifted it, and then you really shouldn't be lifting that. You should be lifting maybe 20% less.
Yeah,
but you're just like, oh, he lifted it, I'll do it as well. And then your friend doesn't want to embarrass you, so he won't point out that your back's rounding or anything like that.
Yeah,
just go, nice job, man. Nice job.
Yeah.
And that's just a really bad...
it's like ego and pride.
What's that called?
Negative feedback loop?
Negative feedback loop. It's just a really bad negative feedback loop, which will just keep on going until you get injured, pretty much.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And definitely not ideal.
No.
So
too many beginners do it, I think. They fall into that trap.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's when they get that's when you can get easily scared of compound movements very early in your training, which could be quite detrimental to your progress in the long run. So, for example, if you hit that big deadlift, but then the next day you literally can't even walk or anything, or you actually injure yourself, then you're probably not going to want to do deadlifting for a while. And that's going to be detrimental to your progress. So,
if your form's breaking before you get to the top, that weight's too heavy for you. Another thing that a lot of people do is they'll go to fatigue, and they'll go until they can't go anymore. Whereas what you should do is go until you can't do another perfectly formed rep. So if you're doing deadlifts, I keep using deadlifts as an example since that's one of the harder technical exercises to do. If I might be able to do 3 more deadlifts if I start rounding my back. But I should stop there. That's the point at which I'm fatigued.
So would you say it's not muscle failure, it's form failure?
Definitely.
Is that good terminology around that?
Yeah. It's a pretty easy to understand way of explaining that, I'd say.
Yeah.
Don't go until you can't do any more. Go until you can't do any more properly and safely.
Yeah, that's right. That's a really good tip. Tip 3, coming right at you.
Tip number 3. If your goal is general fitness, and it's not something really specific like a marathon or something like that, focus on lifting weights with cardio as more of a supplement to your training. Don't go to the gym, do 1 kilo dumbbell curls for a few minutes and then hop on the treadmill for an hour. You're going to get the results you want much faster. So generally that's losing body fat, gaining a little bit of muscle maybe, looking more toned, so on and so forth. You're going to get those results a lot faster if you do use weights to get there.
Definitely. Because would you say, I think it's a fair assumption in saying this, that most people's goals are tailored towards body recomposition.
Yeah.
Whether they actually know that or not.
Yeah,
which is fat loss
it's the
and muscle
dream.
gain.
The absolute dream. You'd struggle to find one person that doesn't want to be a little bit leaner and a little bit more muscular.
Yeah, which is what body recomposition is.
Some people don't know it.
Yeah.
Like, I think especially women, they'll look at someone and go, "Oh, I want to be like her."
Yeah.
And they think all they need to do is lose body fat, when in fact they probably want to build a little bit of muscle
Yeah,
as well.
that's right.
I just hit the mic. They probably want to gain a little bit of muscle as well to achieve the physique that they're after.
It's kind of related, but not at the same time. Do you think that's why gyms are dominated by treadmills, the big gyms, like the big gym franchises? Do you reckon that's why they're dominated by cardio equipment rather than weight equipment because of that misconception?
I think it definitely could be a factor, yeah, because a lot of people do find cardio is I wouldn't necessarily say more enjoyable, since a lot of people complain about being on a treadmill and stuff like that. But it can be easier. So you can just hop on a treadmill, 45 minutes walking on it, or light jog. Can watch something on your phone while you're there. You can do whatever, and then you can go and be like, okay, I just had a gym session.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're say going doing some squats, doing some leg press, doing bench press, whatever, you can't be on your phone watching videos and chilling out.
Hey, people still do that. We've seen people on those benches.
one arm bench, one arm on the phone.
Oh, admittedly, yeah. No, yeah, that's very true. So people will just be able to walk into a gym, jump on a treadmill, because that I feel as though people yet again are apprehensive to actually ask people for help with like lifting weights, and also invest in a personal trainer because how the industry's become quite diluted. With people who don't really know what they're doing or just don't really care enough. It's like you hear horror stories about PTs and people who injure themselves under the PT's guidance. So that could be one of the things I reckon as well. That's why people just run in and jump on a treadmill. But then you're just paying commercial gyms. Commercial gyms get up to like $20 a week, and there's literally just people going in and doing cardio.
Yeah, which you could, to be honest, just do by going outside, which would
probably
be...
run outside.
Just before we finish up on this one, I'm not trying to completely take the piss out of cardio.
Aren't we?
No. Well, we might, but what I would recommend using cardio for is a nice way of finishing off a gym session. So let's say you go to the gym for an hour, do 40 or 45 minutes, do 40 minutes of weights, maybe 15 minutes of cardio, just light on the treadmill maybe, or cycling, something like that, and then finish off with just a bit of stretching. That would be pretty much the ideal gym session for a beginner.
Okay. There's an important distinction here though that I think you can clear up for me. You're talking about steady state cardio there. You're not talking about high intensity cardio like HIIT training. Where does that fit in? So
if you're planning to HIIT training, it really depends on the kind of thing you're going for. So if you're going for a bit of a longer HIIT session, I would probably even make that the majority of your session. Take out some weight training for it. And don't do cardio at the end. If the HIIT training is the thing you're focusing on, put it at the start. Okay. If it's kind of a bit more of a burnout, put it at the end, make it a bit shorter. But just make sure that each week you're doing a little bit of resistance training at least, and you're doing plenty of stretching.
Yeah.
Those are pretty much mandatory, and then you can add cardio in wherever you please, more or less. That's probably how I would. Very broad, generalized recommendations, but just beginners are very, very varied, so it's hard to give really specific stuff.
With any of this stuff, it is, unless you're actually coaching them.
Yeah.
Then you can actually give proper personalised advice.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard to know. Obviously, you don't know who you're working with. Yeah. All you can do is give generalised advice. So make sure you take that in consideration as well with any of our podcasts. This is for the general population. Tip number 4.
What I put for this one was not to get caught up in the specifics of both fitness and nutrition, but focus instead on the broader principles. So what's your initial thought when you hear that?
I can't really elaborate on that much more than what it's actually written, other than giving examples. So giving some examples here's a good one. Focus on first your perhaps your calorie intake and your protein intake. Even then, that's going fairly specific. Like here, you know what? Scrap that. Actually, just focus on getting in enough food. And knowing what has a lot of protein in, and consuming a lot of that. Yeah, that's a good starting point.
Just try and notice yourself. Doing that as well.
It sounds like a ridiculous bit of advice, but like
be less specific. Sounds like a little bit crazy, but it is helpful.
Yeah, really is, because you get too caught up and then you just get off it. Literally, just for me as a skinny dude, I was. I think I am fairly skinny, but I was 50 kilograms on 20 body dysmorphia coming out. 20 kilos heavier now, and I was exposed to it all at the start. Luckily, I wasn't put off because I was exposed to all of that, and I was like, "Oh dear, this is going to be hard."
I know I was as well. I was really, really caught up in just these really which. Should I be doing a dumbbell curl, or should I be slightly twisting at the top?
Just those ridiculous.
Don't focus on that too much when you're first beginning.
Yeah, that's right.
Focus more on, okay, I should try and increase my weight a little bit each week. Do the exercises you're enjoying to start off with. Try and focus on compound exercises, and just progress the weight up slowly but surely. We'll go into a bit more depth into compound exercises next week, but what they are is multi-joint exercises, meaning they work a large number of muscles compared to an isolation exercise which covers just one joint. So comparing, say, a bent over row to a bicep curl. So bicep curl only works your bicep. A bent over row will work your bicep as well as a lot of your back muscles, and so on.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a really good bit of advice. Is to start off with having those compounds a bit more at the center.
Yeah.
But like you said, I think the overarching principle is doing what you enjoy and what what you feel comfortable with.
Yeah, exactly.
So
and
if
just
you don't feel
progressing is the main thing there. Don't worry about which variation may be a tiny bit better according to EMG data.
Yeah, that's
or
right.
anything like that. Just do the exercise that you enjoy the most out of the set.
Yeah.
And slowly work on increasing your weights on that and start spreading out the exercise selection a little bit more.
Yeah, that's right. If you're like 2 months in to your training and you know what EMG data means, you've already done way too much research. So keep it broader. It's pretty much just like make sure you're eating enough, train regularly, but not too.
As much training as you can with ample recovery, I'd say. So for a beginner, start off maybe 2 days a week, up it to 3, maybe up to 4 if you're feeling like you really want to go to the gym again.
Yeah, naturally athletic or whatever. And then just get enough sleep.
Yeah.
If you just focus on those 3 things without worrying about too much of the micro details, and you're gonna be seeing results. I mean, you've got newbie gains on your side. Newbie gains, if you don't know, you just get a lot more gains at the start when you train. So.
Yeah. And I'll just quickly go back and just about when Ben said you've done too much research. I wouldn't say that, but I would say you're focusing too much on the little details, and you're giving them far more credence than they have.
Yeah.
You're saying, oh well, that little twist in my arm will be as impactful as if I'm progressing every week in my compound exercise.
Yeah, that's right.
When it won't. Just focus on the bigger things, and then start adding in these little things as you go.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, I do realise that doing too much research is a dumb comment,
especially coming from us.
Well, you've articulated perfectly there what I actually meant, which was
I could tell what you meant, but I just wanted to make sure it was
read between the
clear.
lines with me. Yeah. So that's pretty much tip number 4. Mm-hmm. Just start worrying about the macro and stop worrying about the micro. Pretty much. That's another way to pretty much rephrase that tip. And you can actually quite take that literally with nutrition. Just focus on macronutrients and not micronutrients. I mean, yeah. Anyway, that was a lame, nerdy nutrition joke.
Yeah, that was really funny, dude. Tip number 5.
Tip number 5, and this will be the last tip for this podcast, is
kind of a bit of a carry-on, which is do what you enjoy, and this will help with your adherence. So the most important thing with any gym program, any nutrition program, any health or lifestyle change, I think would be safe to say is adherence.
Definitely safe to say.
Because if you don't adhere to it, everything else will crumble down.
Yeah, that's right.
Your perfectly constructed program or nutrition meal plan won't matter if you're not adhering to it. Which is why, and the number one thing for adherence is to do what you enjoy. And a lot of people don't do that, and they fall off the bandwagon pretty quickly.
That's right. This goes so much further than just getting some gains and going to the gym and making yourself look better. This is actually extremely relevant for like diabetes research, any chronic disease that involves some sort of lifestyle change. Yeah, has directly measured adherence of different strategies in the current scientific literature. So this has got a massive carryover with the medical community and the current scientific literature that's out there for chronic diseases. And I know it sounds bad, but I do apply a lot of things from scientific literature on chronic disease just to normal lifestyle things. Yeah. It's mostly to do with psychology. Like with the adherence, there's been a load of research done into diabetics adhering to their diabetic diets, and they've compared loads of different diets and whatever. And it pretty much is just adherence is the variable to your success. Yeah, almost.
Yeah, definitely. Because the best diet in the world, if such a thing was to exist, would not work if it's not adhered to. Yeah, that's because right. then you're not doing the best diet in the world or the best gym program in the world. Yep. Which is Motivate, by the way. It's
Motivate. Link in bio. Just to say, we do have a Motivate program, 8-week program, fitness and nutrition.
Very easy to adhere to, very effective.
100%
very,
of sales,
very cost efficient.
100% of sales go to an animal sanctuary in South Australia.
You can virtue signal all you like as well, because you donated to charity and got swole.
Save animals and get swole.
Save animals, get swole. That should be on a t-shirt.
This is pretty much the basis of crash diets. So crash diets, weight loss shakes, all of that crap. The reason why people fall off is because of this. It's adherence. It's just not fun to replace 2 meals a day with I'm trying to think of a brand to actually abuse some
Slim
brands
Fast.
here. Slim Fast, Herbalife, Isogenics.
List them all.
They're just really making it a bad experience for you. They really are. And it's unnecessary to make it a bad experience. You can eat... I've seen people eat the worst, most delicious food on the
Worst
planet.
in apostrophes.
Worst than... Yeah. But this is the other thing I don't like.
Quotation marks. Fuck,
Yeah,
I've ruined it. I've ruined it.
Thank you for actually correcting that though, because I hate to label foods good and bad. It's just not good for your psychology. That's another thing that kind of links in with this. But I've seen people eat sometimes foods every day as daily foods, so pretty much bad foods like donuts and all the rest on a daily basis, and be able to lose weight, and that's because they've just done some macro magic. They've just hit their macros. I mean, it's pretty much if it hits your macros. If you don't know what that is, I wouldn't worry about it too much, but they just pretty much eat anything if it fits their macros. It doesn't matter. I'm not really a fan of it for the stage, like an intermediate or whatever, but it might be useful for beginners or whatever. There's a bit of a neglecting your actual health there a bit. There can be anyway.
If you're gonna do if it fits your macros, do it whilst being aware of your vitamins and minerals.
Yeah,
as I think pretty much your problem with it.
Yeah, that's right. And but the thing is, I think if it hits your macros, it doesn't speak out on that at all. It more speaks out like you can get swole and eat like crap, pretty much.
Yeah,
That's
have
more
a
of what
donut
it's
and
doing.
then have some chicken and rice.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much what they say. Yeah. If it was more like, hey, you can actually be healthy and include these foods that are considered bad, I would be all over it. But it's not really what I'm seeing right now from that kind of group. But I'm not like I'm saying, I'm not against it. I'm just saying it's a bit shaky. It's a bit shaky ground.
I think you went off on a bit of a tangent there.
Sorry, went off on a bit of a tangent.
Talking about doing what you enjoy.
So it's pretty much like if you fall off, you're going to rebound really badly.
Yeah.
So if you fall off this crash diet, you might have lost some weight. I mean, replacing 2 meals, surprise, surprise, with a shake is going to make you lose weight, right? It's no brainer there.
Yeah.
You're going to fall off and you're going to gain all that weight back and maybe even some more. You want to do something that's long-term, sustainable. You want to make it become a lifestyle. You want to make it a sustainable lifestyle that for you that you can actually follow and you actually enjoy. But I mean, because if you're enjoying it, why are you going to want to stop?
Yeah. And that's one of the things where people want to get the results quickly, but a lot of the time you'll find if you get the results quickly, you're going to get short-term results.
Yeah.
Whereas if you take a little bit longer, enjoy the process a bit more, find out what works for you, it's going to last a little bit longer, but so are your results.
That's exactly right.
That's essentially what you can bring it down to.
Yeah, pretty much, definitely. That pretty much wraps it up, I reckon, with the tips. Unless you've got
just quickly, I'm just going to add to that. Just on the gym side as well, you want to be. You see a lot of people thinking. We went over this actually in the fitness myths that there are necessary exercises and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's right.
And you might find that you hate those exercises that you've been recommended to do. And the answer a lot of the time is try a different exercise that you might enjoy more.
Yeah.
And it seems like common sense when I'm saying it, but a lot of people just
doesn't register.
Think that exercise has to be the one that I do, even though I hate it. Because if you hate going to the gym, surprise, surprise, you're not going to go to the gym.
This podcast is full of surprises.
Shocking stuff coming out here.
I mean, we think it's shocking. Not to be condescending here, but although we might not find it shocking, some other people might find it really interesting and quite transformative, which is why we're saying it now.
That's why we're being quite blunt with some of these things.
Yeah, but this is, sometimes you do need it like nailed in a bit, like with some of these very easy principles, but people neglect them because of marketing in the industry.
What they've been told by someone who looks jacked, who says this is exactly what you need to do.
Yeah,
and even if you don't like it, you just need to grind through it.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
I'm so sympathetic to the layperson in the current fitness and health industry because it's a mess. It really is a mess. It really is a mess. You've got like information coming from all angles. It's all contradictory.
It's very hard to navigate.
Yeah, it's so hard to navigate. It's just choppy waters, and you've just got a little tugboat.
No map.
We are the vessel to take you through the treacherous waters of the fitness industry.
They already have a vessel. They need a map.
Make a fitness program, make a nutrition program, make a sleep program, make whatever program. Just make it so that you enjoy it and you're going to stick with it.
Cool.
Done.
That's the last of the tips we're going to go through today. Now, we did get one AMA today, which I think we
one
said
AMA
at the beginning. So, which is from
Lockie of Southern Strength and Conditioning, the gym that we're currently operating out of. Not sure if it's the news, but yeah, hi Lockie if you're watching, mate. Legend.
Thank you for the question, which is, what's the highest source of vegan protein?
Okay.
So I'll let you take this one, first try.
That's kind of covered this a bit, actually, in the podcast, surprisingly. Didn't think we would. It's hard to say. So it's not a clear-cut, dry answer, actually.
In terms of pure numbers.
If we're talking pure numbers, then it's going to be...
Seitan.
It's going to be protein powder, technically.
So
but that's being really nitpicky.
That's cheating.
It's protein powder. I don't know what exact brand, but it's going to be a protein powder.
Seitan.
Then it's going to be seitan. Seitan is wheat gluten, so it's pretty much flour that's had the carbohydrate taken out. It's just left with gluten, which is the protein.
Flour doesn't have too much fat in it anyway, so
No, it's pretty much just protein. It's at 75 grams per 100 grams. So it's 75% protein by weight,
crazy.
Which is crazy. And you don't even mix it with that much liquid when you make it, so it doesn't even expand too much. It doesn't expand when you cook it unless you cook it in water, which a lot of people do, but you can cook it in the oven and it makes it even denser again. You can have a very small amount and get a lot of protein in.
Yeah.
The availability, the biological value, which means pretty much the absorption of wheat protein, or if you're using another scale like PDCAAS, I won't go into that now, but it's protein digestibility corrected amino acid score. If you're going off of one of those kind of metrics for protein absorption, wheat doesn't do too well.
Yeah.
On its own. So this is what I mean with thinking about in a whole diet. In a whole diet, the absorption will be increased because you'll be having other sources of protein that kind of bump it up and compensate for the amino acids that are a bit lower in there. But if we're talking just numbers, like you said, it's going to be wheat gluten every day. Next is going to be TVP, what we mentioned before, which is defatted soy flour.
Godly food.
It's godly food. It's good.
Greatest food on earth.
Yeah, celiacs can have it because it's soy.
Champions. I'm just going to keep going with these catchlines.
Keep going. It's the best. It's 50% protein.
Zeus's breakfast.
Like I said before, it's 50% protein by weight, so 50 grams per 100 grams. So very high in protein, very easy to prepare, a lot easier than seitan. So, and the absorption from soy protein is the best as well. It's up there with whey. It's up there with egg whites. It's up there with the highest absorbed proteins. So that's a really good protein to include. There's also a few other little interesting ones in there, like lupin flakes and lupin flour.
I've heard of that, but I don't actually know what it is.
Yeah, it's a bean. I can't tell you too much about it. Yeah, it's made into a flour, or it's made into flakes.
I've seen the flakes actually. I think that's where I've seen it before, and I just had no clue what it was.
Yeah, it's interesting. I can't really tell you too much. It might not even be technically it could be a different kind of bean. I'm not going to speak too much about it, but I know. You can get it in a flake or a flour. Pretty sure it's from a bean, and it's grown in Australia as well. Most of it that's sold in Australia. I'm pretty sure all of it is actually Australian made.
Yeah.
Don't know how to prepare it. Don't ask me. I've been told before, but totally forgot.
But it's high in protein.
Hey, I want to try it out though soon. I'm going to definitely try it out. Make sure you stay tuned for our lupine flakes recipe.
So do you want to just finish off this one just by listing off, just quick fire a few other good vegan?
Quick fire another few other good foods. Vegan protein sources. You've got obviously tofu, around 15 grams per 100 grams. Yep. Notorious. Tempeh, around the same. It's going to be around 15 grams per 100 grams. Oats, surprisingly, about 12 grams protein per 100 grams. Soy milk, about depending on your brand, about 8 or 9 grams per cup, which you'll be surprised how much you can actually fit in. Per cup, per 250 mils, 9 grams around. Nuts and seeds, it varies, but it's probably like from anywhere from 15 grams to 25 grams per 100 grams. We've got obviously beans, notorious beans. Talking about dry weight, it's going to be around 25% protein. So when that's obviously mixed in with water, it changes a bit. But in a can of around 240 grams, you're going to get around 20 grams of protein. It's easy to smash a can of beans, though. I think anyone will know. Can of baked beans, 20 grams of protein. Easy to smash.
Yeah. And you've just got stuff like peas and... I think it's
a few veggies in there. Yeah, nuts, seeds, whatever them.
Chickpeas.
Yeah, chickpeas
lentils,
are in there.
All that good stuff.
Yeah, lentils. Yeah, lentils is a really good one, actually. Yeah, definitely.
Dried lentils.
Yeah, they're very good. Very cheap. Very easy. We've got some on the table just there. Yeah. So that pretty much answers that question. Definitely a lot of high vegan protein sources. I think that's a misconception that's crumbling down about.
I get asked about that a lot less nowadays.
A lot less, yeah, definitely. Pretty much that's it. Wrap it up there, hey? Short and sharp.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Yep, thank you so much for tuning in again.
Hope you enjoyed.
Yeah, we hope you enjoyed the episode. Make sure you tune into the next episode.
Which will be part 2.
Yeah,
part 2 of this one. We've got another 5 tips along the same lines as this one, and then some quick fire tips at the end to finish.
Thanks for watching, legends, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Peace.